in particular because I get the chance to present the awards to my esteemed colleagues and good friends. So it's personally meaningful. I'll say something interesting about them a little bit later on. But at the same time, when I spoke with Ed, and he suggested that I say something about AI. You know, AI is the rage, AI is cool, AI is awesome. What should I say? So after thinking about this for a little bit, I said, let me just outline 3 things that I think all of us should know, and I think it's worthwhile for you to ponder against. And in it, there was a quote that I thought was deeply profound. It said, "Those who win in the shadows, those who succeed in the shadows, they win the game. But those that succeed in the spotlight, they change the game." And that's just the notion that success is not defined by the individual. Success is in fact setting the tone and up-leveling the expectation of what the society can see in terms of future leaders, expectations on roles, expectations on impact. And that's profound. And so when we celebrate successes and role models, whether it's Crazy Rich Asians, whether it's luminaries, awardees, and we see great people starting to talk about the insights and their learnings and their contributions to the world around, that's the tone that it sets, that inspires the next generation. And so when we start looking at all the awardees, and we start to recognize that each of you in here have either accomplished greatly, aspiring to accomplish even more, but each of you is not just successful in your own right. You have an obligation and you have an opportunity to influence others through service and through impact around. And so that is something that is noble, and that is something that is profound. And we have today opportunity, and I have the opportunity to introduce and give and recognize 2 awardees. And the first awardee that you recognize and bring up, Donna. Donna, so Donna, I worked with Donna for many years. She's a colleague. She's recently promoted to corporate vice president of Microsoft, a really hard thing to do. And it's a recognition of her impact and years of contribution to Microsoft and to her field, which is in local map search. She drives impact in Bing and Cortana. And one thing that I think in particular that is very personally relevant and important is, just as I interacted with her through these years, I just find her integrity, her ability to be calm in the sea of chaos, and her ability and her creativity in really fighting for what is right, mentoring others, giving back. I think that is inspiring. And one thing that Donna also mentioned, that even beyond technology, she's actually a poet. And she is a gifted poet, and that just speaks to the wealth and the breadth of talent that Donna has. So let's give her a round of applause for her.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank the Chinese Institute of Engineers, Seattle, for this tremendous honor. This recognition is both exciting and humbling. Thanks to Dr. David Koo and Dr. Harry Xiong, Executive Vice President at Microsoft, me with traditional Chinese values, such as integrity and a strong work ethic. Dr. David Koo just mentioned the movie Crazy Rich Asians. Coincidentally, I recently went to watch this movie with my family. And as many of you know, this movie talks about an American-born Chinese woman meeting her boyfriend's family in Singapore for the first time. Just like the main character in the movie, I have experienced feeling out of place in a familiar setting. And just like the main character, I discovered that starting a dialogue to understand others results in ourselves being understood in the end. When I began my career in Microsoft some 20 years ago, quiet. And because I did not talk much about my own knowledge, experiences, and accomplishments. My goal has always been to make an impact, so being invisible really bothered me. I started to adapt my approaches while staying true to my principles. I use hand gestures to emphasize my points, and I show metrics of my work. After becoming a manager, I was finally in a position to make some changes. I always tell my team to seek input from people who seem to be quiet, to pay attention to people who don't market themselves, and to give opportunity and recognition to people who don't come in your office asking for a promotion every few months. It has always warmed my heart to see how the society is growing to embrace multiple norms. And it is equally rewarding to help grow the influence and number of Asian and female engineers. I remember a phrase from the senior women's community at Microsoft: individually strong, collectively powerful. Our community of Chinese engineers can be and is individually strong and collectively powerful, even if some of us remain relatively quiet and modest, hiding in the corner. And we are surrounded by people of all communities out to help us and support us. How amazing is that? Indeed, how amazing is that? Thank you very much.